Where do poets get their inspiration? The first line of a poem, or the first glimmer of an idea that eventually becomes a carefully crafted series of stanzas on the page? I think that usually we're following our particular passion or our current obsession, playing with alternate versions of our identity or of reality. Or maybe we're just dreaming while we're awake and holding a pen in our hands. I'm C.W. Emerson, and this is The Older American Poet, where I'll be sharing some poems from Luminous Body, Glittering Ash, my poetry collection, coming soon from Eyewear Press. This poem came to me as part of a poetry marathon, where twice a week, for 5 weeks or more, several poets get together online and share first drafts of new poems. I was inspired by a first draft by a quite famous poet who was part of our group, and I riffed on his idea of the things for which he was originally educated as a young man in the rural American Midwest. This is called My Education. I was educated for a life at racetracks, country auctions, nickel-ante poker games, how to elicit small-town gossip over one's lascivious nature and acts. I never learned the names of farm machines my father sold at auction, wouldn't know a combine from a thresher, or for that matter, a Holstein from a Guernsey. But put me on the back stretch of an oval track, I'll show you what separates trotters from pacers, cheap claimers from the imagined equine elite that never raced at Finger Lakes. And only at a small-town track outside of Canandaigua would I ever have been hired at 17 by the Daily Racing Form as call taker, taking down the trackman's call of the race, then constructing presumed positions of each horse throughout. A highly speculative endeavor, not unlike fantasy football, I'm told. I ran bets for my boss, and I made a killing when I bet the same. On days when the track was dark, I'd jog my father's horses, cool them down, at the horse barn he'd built behind the auction house on Chapin Road, the sweat of the horses seeping deep into woolen blankets of red, black, and silver plaid, racing colors of the Emerson clan. On Friday nights, in the back of Macri's grocery and deli, my mother, Jimmy Macri, his sister Rosalie, Sue Ellen Quayle, and others gathered for their weekly poker game with old man Macri looking on. He always called my mother by her maiden name. Miss Locke became Miss Salaka, and she was 20 again. There, on the Macri's plush upholstered couch, I needed toothpicks to stay awake for Dracula's Daughter, Fall of the House of Usher, or some other terrifying late-night delight. Around that time, I also learned that cars were not mere vehicles, but also icons of free spending, markers of independence, potential sites of marital strife. The day Eileen drove home from Kerner Ford in a new candy apple red Mustang convertible, my father said, "Christ, Eileen, do you think we're made of money?" But I wasn't there to hear it. Wasn't here, wasn't there, wasn't anywhere, except lost in Bracken's World, a TV show about backstage Hollywood, the place I truly belonged, directing from behind the camera. Or, if I grew to be handsome enough, being artfully lit by my boyfriend, the director of photography. I watched the show religiously, alone in my room on an old black and white, and envisioned my future glamorous life, where, in each week's teaser, at the end of every episode, my true parentage might finally be revealed. For having concealed nothing of my nascent gay persona, my father had disowned me. Eileen sent care packages to my tiny basement garden apartment not far from campus in frigid St. Paul. I continued to dream of the life I'd have, golden tan, blonde hair feathering back in the balming Malibu breeze. And now, as I step outside my manufactured desert home, the dust-dry air gathers into a haboob a storm lifting up toward the San Jacintos. I roll up the windows of my 2003 Buick Rendezvous and hunker down, out of danger, out of sight, waiting for the storm to come, to settle, and finally to pass. I'm C.W. Emerson, and this is The Older American Poet. If you enjoy and value poetry, please like and subscribe to my channel, and consider sharing it with others who might enjoy it. Check out my website, theolderamericanpoet.com, to contact me, find out about upcoming readings, and how to purchase books. Remember, young or old, novice or pro, poetry is for everyone. So join me, and let's do poetry together.